right, so Mendel, we are looking at till debt, D-E-B-T, till debt do us part. And many times the hit of a divorce means we're starting from scratch. So what I want to ask you as our financial advisor, financial coach, business coach, just give us an idea of some basic financial documents that we need to make sure we have in our possession when we're starting over financially after a divorce.
All right, so let's start with the debt itself, right?
Okay, so evidence of the debt.
So you need statements of the debt to know what is actually owed and how it is owed, right? And that should be accompanied the assets too.
Yeah,
right?
so we need to know number two.
So you need to know your assets because
right, but
there
remember,
are
my
two
marriage
sides.
burst up and Mr. Aubrey
There are
hiding
two sides
the assets,
of a balance sheet.
but he's
the
hiding the assets
and the liability.
Yes,
if the debt is tied to an asset, you will know about it.
Oh, so they can't hide it.
So you don't have to worry about that.
All right.
Right? So that is one. The next thing you're going to look at is, as I say, your credit.
So
are they being serviced well or still?
Yes.
Right? Because you mentioned before that Aubrey stopped paying because he has moved out of the house.
Yes. So
you are still in the house.
Oh, Lord.
So he's like, why am I continuing to pay if I'm not there? I have to live somewhere else. I'm paying my living elsewhere. So he has stopped.
You realize how I'm suffering.
So I understand the constraint, but it's a part of the process of the divorce.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So it's important to assess. And typically too, when you're going into a divorce, you should have assessed and gotten some advice. We mentioned before it's important to get advice.
Yes.
Strong financial advice from your bankers and financial planners and your attorney.
Okay, yes,
to understand
the attorney is important.
The full financial implication.
Yes.
So that you can adequately plan. So typically, what will happen is that the assets may have to be sold unless you have sufficient income to take over the debt and continue it if it is tied to a debt.
All right, so let's be clear. So I need a copy of the debt. And usually the debt is tied to an asset, so I'll get copies of the assets. I need my credit report so I know where I stand. And in my case, if the spouse stopped paying, it will show up on the credit report.
And in your statements.
In the statements.
Yeah.
I would need some advice from qualified professionals, an attorney, financial person. Okay, anything else?
That's typically it, but here's a point just to remind, right? In the process of a divorce, as I know, right? If there are assets and stuff involved, there's typically a court order.
Yes, there's a court order. Yes.
They would have to be disposed of or dispensed of.
Right, so the courts would get involved.
So this would typically be known up front.
Yes.
In terms of what the assets are, what the liabilities are,
but
and
remember,
how they should be treated.
I'm starting over.
Right, but I'm assuming that the divorce process is complete.
Yes.
So if the divorce process is complete, it would be assumed that some of those things would have been already known.
Yes.
And there may be a judgment as to how they should be dealt with.
Right.
Now, in starting over now, it's coming back to your finances.
Yes.
Having, settled, I know you'd have spoken about going through your emotional thing and healing.
Yes.
But it's now time to set new goals, right? So you'd have new goals and objectives for yourself.
Yes.
As to where you want to be financially, what you want it to look like.
Yes.
And based on those goals, given that the prior situation has changed, you now have to make new plans as to how you're going to get there.
All right.